A long time ago, in the ancient pages of the Bible, lies the moving story of Tamar, daughter of King David. She was an adored princess, surrounded by luxury and beauty in the palace. However, her life drastically changed when her half-brother Amnon fell into a forbidden passion for her. Deceived by a cunning plan, Tamar faced a terrible betrayal, shaking not just her life but the entire realm of David. This is the introduction to the painful saga of Tamar, a narrative of twisted love, betrayal, and the pursuit of justice, echoing through the centuries. Today, we dive into the Bible to learn about the tragic story of Tamar, the daughter of King David. Tamar was no ordinary princess. She was kind, smart, and incredibly beautiful. Living in the palace, she had everything she could wish for, but that didn't mean she was safe from harm. She had many brothers and sisters, but it was her half-brother Amnon who would change her life in a way no one could have imagined. Amnon, overwhelmed by a forbidden passion for Tamar, found himself entangled in his desires. His obsession for her triggered a deceitful plan, both cunning and dreadful. Pretending to be sick, he manipulated his father David to send Tamar to take care of him. Tamar arrived wearing a special garment signifying her virginity and royal status, customary for the king's virgin daughters. She believed her brother was truly ill and needed care. She didn't know she was walking into a trap in Amnon's quarters, and with her own hands, Tamar prepared a meal for Amnon, intending to nurse him back to health. Her innocence and good intentions shone, not realizing the deceit and darkness awaiting her. Amnon asked Tamar to bring the meal to his room, insisting on being fed directly by her. When Tamar innocently did so, the deceitful brother revealed the darkness of his intentions. He grabbed her against her will, ignoring her desperate pleas for him to stop. He committed an unforgivable act against Tamar, a violation of trust and family ties that should never happen to anyone. After Amnon's heinous act, his lust quickly turned to disgust. With a cold heart, he ordered Tamar out, seeking to erase the evidence of his crime. But the princess, shocked and desperate, couldn't move. Amnon, in his cruelty, ordered his servant to forcibly remove her from his presence. Cast out and alone, Tamar collapsed in a display of anguish. She tore her garments and sprinkled ashes on her head, a traditional sign of mourning and disgrace. Stripped of her dignity and betrayed by her own family, Tamar faced a future dimmed by this act of violence. In her moment of complete devastation, there was only one person she felt she could turn to, her full brother Absalom. Upon hearing about the atrocious act committed by Amnon, Absalom's fury knew no bounds. However, his anger didn't turn into public outrage. Instead, he chose a path of silent resolution, advising Tamar to keep the incident a secret. He made a promise to her that he would take care of everything, even though he felt her dignity had been stolen. Tamar placed her shattered trust in Absalom's hands, hoping for justice or at least some form of reparation for the irreparable harm she had suffered. After Tamar's terrible suffering, the palace was filled with a heavy silence. King David, Tamar's father, found out what Amnon had done to her and was very angry. Torn between his love for his children and the demands of justice, David remained paralyzed, a decision that would sow seeds of division within his own family. David's inaction made Absalom feel that his sister had not received the justice she deserved. Thus, Absalom decided that if his father would do nothing, he would have to make things right himself. Although David's lack of action was the result of a conflicted heart, for Absalom it was a blatant betrayal, a failure to protect and achieve justice for his sister. Resolved to avenge her, all Absalom had to do was wait for the right moment. 2 years passed since the sinister incident, and everyone moved on, including King David and Amnon. But Absalom wasn't going to let it go. He pretended everything was fine, waiting for the right moment. He was planning, thinking, and waiting for his chance to make Amnon pay for what he did. And the moment came. It was the sheep shearing season, a time traditionally associated with joy, gathering, and festivity. Absalom sent warm invitations to his brothers, including Amnon, promising a day of feasts, luxurious banquets, entertainment, and the joy that accompanies a successful sheep shearing season. It was the perfect setting for Absalom's dark intentions, using the guise of celebration to gather the key target of his revenge. To everyone else, it seemed like a gesture of reconciliation, a sign that past grievances were buried. But Absalom's plan was far from forgiveness. He gave strict instructions to his servants, waiting for the moment Amnon would be off guard, enjoying the feast. Absalom's command was clear: when Amnon is merry with wine and I say to you, strike Amnon, then kill him. Do not fear, have not I commanded you? Be courageous and valiant. The time of the banquet arrived. Absalom watched as his many brothers enjoyed the celebrations, immersed in the joy and camaraderie of the occasion. However, their laughter and joy were abruptly interrupted by Absalom's signal. His servant sprang into action, targeting Amnon with a deadly determination that left no room for intervention. The scene quickly turned into chaos, with Amnon's brothers witnessing the unthinkable: their brother, the king's son, struck down before their very eyes. The shock and horror of the moment were palpable, and the brothers found themselves frozen between disbelief and the instinct to flee. Realizing they were witnessing a premeditated act of violence executed during a family gathering propelled them into action. Fearing for their own lives and uncertain of Absalom's intentions towards them, they made the desperate decision to flee the scene. Panic set in as they hurried to escape, their minds clouded by a mix of grief, fear, and confusion, as they made their way across the rugged terrain back to Jerusalem, to their father, King David, bringing the tragic news. Meanwhile, Absalom, having set the wheels of his vengeance in motion, was well aware of the magnitude of his actions. The immediate aftermath of Amnon's death was to see the feast turn into a scene of despair and the hasty departure of guests and family members grappling with the gravity of the situation. Absalom knew his actions had irrevocably changed his relationship with his father and placed him in immediate danger. With a heavy heart, he chose exile over confrontation, leaving behind the life he knew in Jerusalem. His destination was Geshur, the kingdom of his maternal grandfather, Tamar. As we will see in future videos, this choice was not made arbitrarily. Absalom had a plan in mind. As for the unfortunate Tamar, no one really knows what became of her after these tragic events. It's assumed she continued to live under the protection of Absalom until her death. Haunted by the trauma of her past, she remained a figure enveloped in sadness, with no signs that she ever married or had children. So we come to the end. If you liked this story, let us know in the comments, and also comment if you were familiar with the story of Tamar. Now, don't forget to like and share this video with everyone you want to know about Tamar's life story. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. God bless you.